There are 87 seats in British Columbia, but all it takes is the flipping of a few to trigger significant change. Here's a look at some of the swing ridings in the Lower Mainland that could make all the difference. Coquitlam Mountain has swung back and forth for years. The vote-rich suburban seat wound up being the closest race in the last provincial election. The NDP lost the riding to the Liberals by the smallest margin in BC, just 87 votes. That's why the New Democrats are pulling out all the stops to try to snag it this time around. Promises of new schools and recruiting a high-profile candidate in former MP Finn Donnelly, who will be in a fight to try to unseat incumbent Liberal Joan Isaacs. After Coquitlam Mountain, the next closest race in 2017 was Richmond Queensborough. The NDP hasn't won a seat in Richmond since 1972, but last time around this seat was determined by fewer than 200 votes. Transportation has been front and centre here, namely the drawn-out replacement of the George Massey Tunnel. The Liberals are banking on their original plan to build a bridge to safeguard the seat. Incumbent Jazz Johal is again being challenged by the NDP's returning candidate, Aman Singh. Moving over to Maple Ridge, we find one of the most significant battlegrounds of this election. Two key ridings have flipped back and forth here for decades. The NDP narrowly won both in 2017. Homelessness has been a hot-button issue for years, and the Liberals are trying to leverage their law and order message to take back the region. In Maple Ridge Mission, they're hoping Chelsea Meadas can swipe the seat from incumbent Bob Deeth. And in Maple Ridge Pitt Meadows, NDP incumbent Lisa Bear will try to hold on to her seat against Liberal candidate Cheryl Ashley. Now let's head to the heart of the urban vote and Vancouver Falls Creek. It's a riding both leaders have circled back to repeatedly over the course of this campaign. Traditionally, it's a Liberal stronghold, but the margin of victory has shrunk increasingly in each of the past three elections. They're desperately trying to hold on to the seat by driving home their crackdown on crime message, while the NDP is hoping the promise of an elementary school for Olympic Village will sway the young family vote. Former Vancouver mayor and longtime Liberal incumbent Sam Sullivan is up against Brenda Bailey for the New Democrats. And finally, over to Surrey, home to a total of 9 seats. It's the region with the most to gain and the most to lose. The NDP has Surrey Cloverdale squarely in its sights, another riding where they've gradually been making gains over the past few elections. The Liberals, though, are attempting to leverage anger over a local issue to keep it in their grips. They're promising a referendum on the decision to get rid of the RCMP in favor of a municipal police force. Liberal incumbent Marvin Hunt will be met by a well-known contender for the NDP, former city councillor Mike Starchuk. In the end, the NDP will need to pick up at least 3 more seats in order to hit the 44 required to form a majority government. And these are the Metro Vancouver ridings that will be key to paving the way to victory in this vote. Tanya Fletcher, CBC News, Vancouver.